Alright, YouTube. So there's a few issues going on worldwide that I decided I wanted to get into. I kind of wanted to dive into a little bit. But I try not to make this channel too political because I've been trying to back away from like political stuff going on in this country because it just gives me a fucking headache to just talk about. But there is some craziness going on in Brazil that I wanted to address and kind of bring to some people's attention because it's something that I feel should be addressed because it's not just an issue that's affecting Brazil, it's an issue affecting everybody worldwide. The issue is the Amazon rainforest, how the Amazon rainforest is being deforested, and just how COVID has been spreading in Brazil rapidly, as well as rising in the U.S. I'm not really going to get that much into the coronavirus in itself, but there is a few things that I do feel need to be said about this one individual. I talked about him once on this channel before, and I might bring him up a couple more times, I don't know, depending on how monumentally screwed up he becomes, or says, or whatever. Jair Bolsonaro is the president of Brazil, and I do not like him out of everything I've read about him, and I saw this coming. Now, I really can't speak about Bolsonaro, the effects that he's had on me, because I'm not from Brazil. It's not my country. I'm not really affected by it, but I thought I'd give some of my opinions as someone looking at it from abroad, and I can safely say that things in Brazil are not looking too good at the moment. Because Jair Bolsonaro, I think that's how you pronounce his name, Jair Bolsonaro has also mismanaged the coronavirus pandemic in Brazil as well. And it looks like that it's really bad because he's a denier of it. He's just completely unethical, just in every stretch of the imagination. Like, Jair Bolsonaro is completely unethical. He's deeply authoritarian. He has an authoritarian streak. He is a far right dictator. He's like a far right dictator. But you could say, oh, well, he got elected. Well, he got elected, so that means he's not a dictator. He got elected. Yeah, you know who else was elected? Hitler was elected, too. Many dictators put up sham elections. And I'm not saying whether or not Brazil's election was a sham or not back in 2018. I'm not really saying that. What I am saying is there are some things that needs to be addressed about Jair Bolsonaro and what I think about him. Jair Bolsonaro, based on some of the things I've read about him, the comments he's made about minorities, women, gay people, black people, indigenous people, among others, is completely unethical and just downright despicable. And look, I'm not going to get on here and preach how offended I am about it, because, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm offended by anything Bolsonaro says, despite the fact that what he has said in the past and probably in the present is extremely homophobic. Like, there is no doubt in my mind that Jair Bolsonaro is homophobic. Jair Bolsonaro is a homophobe. He is a 100% bigot, definitely sexist. He has made all kinds of racially insensitive comments about black people, immigrants, and indigenous people. He's made just completely homophobic comments about gay people, has made borderline sexist comments about women, and he's just overall, and he denies climate change and thinks like COVID is a hoax. The dude is just a complete and utter madman. And it just goes to show that the rise in fascism worldwide has been taking place. And I found some quotes about Bolsonaro that I've uncovered. Now, don't come in here and try to say that I'm getting this from the media. I'm not getting any of this from the media. The things about Bolsonaro is not from the media. The things I'm getting from Bolsonaro is from independent news outlets. Okay, there's a variety of different quotes about him from various news sources, independent news sources, about how this guy is a complete bigot and a racist and just every bad thing you could imagine. He's a fascist. He's a fascist. He wants to bring Brazil's military dictatorship back. He wants to persecute his political opponents. He wants to ban gay marriage. He wants to violate the rights of gay people in every way you could imagine. And it's just not, he wants to, there are so many things about him. Now, the reason Jair Bolsonaro did get elected in Brazil because, now I've talked about this a little bit before, but there was a big corruption scandal in Brazil that happened against the former president Lula. He got locked up for corruption. Some people say they were mucked up charges. And then when Dilma Rousseff was in, she got impeached. She was the first woman president of Brazil. She got impeached for corruption and bribery. And then her vice president Michel Temer took over, and then it turns out that dude was even more corrupt than Dilma was, completely unethical, put his foot in his mouth every single time he opened it. He had no idea how to run the economy or anything. And then that just paved the way of Jair Bolsonaro to steamroll these, basically these neoliberal corporatists who were in Brazil, and I think a lot of Brazilians were fed up with this. And then Jair Bolsonaro says, I'm going to fight corruption. I'm going to get tough on crime. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I can understand, a lot of Brazilians were probably fed up with that. So they're like, okay, let's try this. Because I think a lot of people were willing to overlook some of Jair Bolsonaro's bigotry. Now, a lot of people have done that with leaders because people in Brazil, at least from who I've talked to on this website and elsewhere, they feel like they've been beat down for so long just by all these neoliberal politicians and everything else. So I think they were just willing to be like, okay. Now, I'm not saying it was the right choice to make to put this guy in, because this guy is a complete bigot, a racist, and a warmonger. And I don't like to throw around the word racist or bigot because I think that word has been completely nullified in this day and age, because people just throw that word around like it's nothing. But Jair Bolsonaro is a bigot. He is insensitive. He is a warmonger. He also wanted war with Venezuela too. And Venezuela they got their own shit going on. Some people say it's socialism. Some people say it's this and that. I don't know. I try not to really get involved in it. Now, there's no question in my mind that Nicolas Maduro is authoritarian too. But Jair Bolsonaro is too. So looking at Nicolas Maduro fighting with Jair Bolsonaro and those two going back and forth, it's literally just like watching two idiot dictators trying to fight over a Rubik's Cube. That's basically what it looks like. And you know who's caught in the middle of it? They're citizens. The citizens of Venezuela, the citizens of Brazil. And also, let's not forget that Jair Bolsonaro was a big ally of Trump and the Republicans in this country. Because, Trump went on the stage, he was also populist in his rhetoric and blah, blah, blah. It's just everything you can imagine. So obviously those two liked each other and whatever. He wanted to, he just claimed he was against all this stuff. And Trump was like, oh, me too. Oh, Bolsonaro's saying good things about me, so I like him too. It's like, it's crazy. So it's completely insane. So I found a list of the most offensive comments that have come from Jair Bolsonaro. Here are some of the comments, and I'm going to quote them word for word based on this article that I have found. One of them is Sky.com. I think that's a British news website, I think. But yeah. It says, far-right politician Jair Bolsonaro has been inaugurated as Brazil's president. Well, this was back when he was first inaugurated in October 2018. The former army captain's rise has been marked by divisive rhetoric and derogatory remarks about women, gay people, and the country's black population. Dubbed the Trump of the tropics, Mr. Bolsonaro's policies include loosening gun ownership laws and allowing police to use more force. Here are some of his most controversial comments. Now, here's the thing. The fabulous journalist Glenn Greenwald, and I say he's fabulous because I think he's one of the most honest journalists that there is around. He actually said that he's more like the dictator in the Philippines, Rodrigo Duterte, because Rodrigo Duterte is basically leading a genocide against drug users, and that's a whole nother story for another day I might discuss on this channel at a later date. People say he's like this. I see Jair Bolsonaro as the Brazilian Rick Santorum. Because Rick Santorum is another politician from Pennsylvania who tried to run. He made offensive comments about gay people as well, about black people, about other minorities, puts his foot in his mouth every time he opens it. He's also completely bigoted and unethical and insensitive in every way you can imagine. So no, I don't really think that Bolsonaro is like Trump. I mean, that's not to say that Trump doesn't say stupid shit a lot all the time, too, but, whatever. But no, I think Jair Bolsonaro is a lot more like Rick Santorum, if you ask me. He's the Brazilian Rick Santorum, the Brazilian Pat Robertson. He's definitely Brazil's biggest bigot. Let's put it that way. Women and sexuality. In April 2017, Mr. Bolsonaro described having a daughter as a weakness. He also said he would not treat or pay women the same as men. He said, quote, I have 5 children. 4 were boys. On the 5th, I got weak and had a daughter. And how does your wife stay with you? In 2014, he told federal deputy Maria do Rosiero at the Chamber of Deputies, I would not rape you because you are not worthy of it. You gotta be fucking kidding me. This guy is a piece of shit. In 2011, he said he'd rather have his son die in a car accident than be gay. In 2002, Mr. Bolsonaro said, I'm not going to combat or discriminate, but if I see 2 men kissing on the streets, I'm going to hit them. Is that a threat? Okay, so if I kiss my boyfriend in front of you, you'll hit me? No, I'll hit you first, because that'd be self-defense. Actually, I take that back. If you hit me, I'd hit you right back. That'd be self-defense. During a speech in Rio de Janeiro in 2017, he said, quote, I went to a Quilombola settlement founded by people of African origin in Dourado Paulista. That's obviously a part of Brazil. Look, the lightest African descendant there weighed 100 kilograms. They don't do anything. They don't even serve to reproduce. That's a racist comment. That is a 100% racist comment. Torture and violence. Mr. Bolsonaro said he was in favor of torture while referring to the then president Fernando Henrique Cardoso in 1999. He was the first democratically elected president after Brazil transformed from a dictatorship to a democracy. Which I think Brazil is in danger of descending into a dictatorship with the way it's going with this maniac. Reiterating his stance on torture in 2000, he said, quote, I defend torture. A drug dealer who acts on the streets against our children must be immediately put on a pau de arara torture device where the person is tied up on a pole that resembles a bird's perch. Oh my fucking God. There would be no human rights in this case. There would be a para de arara beating. The same thing for kidnappers. The guy must be broken to open his mouth. This dude is a fascist. During a campaign event in September 2018, he said, let's shoot all the PT members here in Acre, a Brazilian state. Okay, so he's calling for shooting his political opponents. Congratulations. Okay, so you're basically the next Alberto Fujimori, who is another scumbag dictator I mentioned on this channel before, but whatever. In 2000, he said, quote, I never beat my ex-wife, but I thought of shooting her various times. So you're also, oh my God. After criticizing Brazil's government during an interview in 1999, Mr. Bolsonaro was asked if he would shut down Congress if he was elected president. He said, there is no doubt I would perform a coup on the same day. Congress doesn't work. And I'm sure that at least 90% of the population would celebrate and applaud because it doesn't work. The Congress today is useless. Let's do the coup already. Let's go straight to the dictatorship. Okay, so you just admitted you're a fucking dictator. Way to go. Okay, Republicans, all Republican and Democratic politicians in this country that preach for democracy around the world. If you support this guy, you are a hypocrite. Plain and simple. Mr. Bolsonaro provoked considerable controversial remarks made about birth control in 2008 when he appeared to advocate the sterilization of poor people. He said, quote, "We need to adopt a rigid birth control policy. People who aren't prepared to have children shouldn't have them. Methods of... Okay, I'm kind of mixed about that, but whatever. Furthermore, methods of birth control have to be provided for those who unfortunately are ignorant and have no means to control their offspring because we, as upper middle class, are able to control ours. Poor people don't control theirs." You were kind of doing good for the first sentence, and then you just derailed your entire point in your next sentence. Way to go. So that's just the many quotes about this fascist wannabe. Oh, and then let's not forget, there was also a quote that he made in January 2020. Sorry, this fucking camera keeps sliding. Sorry about that. All right, that should be better. Back in January 2020, he made a racist comment sparking outrage from indigenous groups. Made an anti-indigenous group joke on Facebook's broadcast, the latest in a succession of discriminatory comments. Bolsonaro declared, "Indians are undoubtedly changing. They are increasingly becoming human beings just like us." Okay. We, the indigenous people... once again, wait a sec. Where's the other comment? Okay, this fucking cameras are really annoying me. So, not every dictatorship... Okay, wait a second. They're increasingly becoming human beings just like us. Okay, you know what? Here's the thing. That's true, they are human beings, but the way you went about it, no, that's unacceptable. So they're becoming human beings. Okay, I had to study the comment for just a second, but now after reading it and thinking about it more, yeah, that's a bigoted comment. They're increasingly becoming human beings just like us. Okay, here's the thing, dumbass. Indians are human beings, just like you are, just like Brazilians are, just like the rest of us are. It's no difference based on their country of origin. You're just a bigot. There's a variety of other different comments he made. He also got in a fight with Norway too, with regards to, because Norway was trying to put the kibosh on him too, because Norway was calling him out for saying, like, dude, like, your deforesting of Brazil's Amazon is destructive to the world. Like, the Amazon is the world's lungs, and a lot of European countries were trying to stop aid, I think, from going to Brazil, and then he was bitching at Norway, bitching at Germany, bitching about France, and bitching at just about everybody. Basically, the dude was just fighting with everyone while the Amazon rainforest was up in flames. So yeah, there are a lot of things to say about Bolsonaro, and I think there was a lot to say. If there's anything else I'm missing, let me know in the comments below, but I thought I'd just get on here and talk a little bit about him. If I find any more quotes about him, I'll definitely bring it up. I'll discuss more about Rodrigo Duterte and the Norway dispute that Jair Bolsonaro gets in another video, because my phone battery is about to die, so I'm probably going to cut this video here pretty soon. But yeah, politics is just a mess. In this country, worldwide, Brazil has their own version of a fascist leader. Now, I know I brought this up before, but if anyone is familiar with the channel Styx, Hex, and Hammer, now here's the thing. I'm a fan of Styx, Hex, and Hammer. I don't agree with them on certain things, but I do agree with them on a lot of things, but some things I don't agree with him on, and this is one of them. Styx was cheering Bolsonaro on, and I did not agree with that at all. At the same time, I did not agree with that at all, because Styx is supposed to be, like, Styx is a libertarian, and Styx is backing this guy. And Styx backed this guy. I don't know if he still does, but it's kind of shocking because he spoke out very, very vocally against Rick Santorum. So it's a little puzzling. Like, how could Styx, X, and Hammer, a libertarian who doesn't care about what other people do as long as they're not hurting anyone else, the libertarian argument, it's puzzling. Like, how could Styx support Jair Bolsonaro when Jair Bolsonaro is completely against everything a libertarian claims to stand for? Now, I get it. It's probably because Bolsonaro's opponent was probably a big leftist, and that probably is true because leftist politics are not really good and have not been really that successful in Brazil either. But Lula in Brazil did do a lot of good for Brazil. He lifted millions of people out of poverty. That was a good thing. But Jair Bolsonaro, you got to be kidding me. The dude is just a big goofball. He's a goofball and he's dangerous. Like, a lot of things I can laugh at, but at the same time, he's also dangerous. He's up for re-election in 2023. Let's hope he doesn't get re-elected, because I swear to God, if this dude gets re-elected, I don't know what the hell's going to happen. You can pretty much kiss Brazil's democracy goodbye if this guy ever gets re-elected, and you can kiss the Amazon rainforest goodbye if he ever gets re-elected. Let's just hope that there is a better alternative. So to defeat Bolsonaro, you need to either have a moderate liberal or a moderate conservative. You can't put up someone like Michael Temer, because Michael Temer is just a wishy-washy neoliberal, not going to win, like Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, all that. Okay, Joe Biden did win, but whatever. Like Hillary Clinton, he's just like that. They're not going to win people. You can't, or you're putting someone up like that against an extreme right-wing fascist like Bolsonaro. You're going to put up a neoliberal against an extreme right-wing theocrat like Bolsonaro? No, that's just not going to work. That will ensure Bolsonaro's re-election if you do that. So to defeat him, you need to either have a moderate liberal or a moderate conservative. That's my message, and that's the only way you can defeat Bolsonaro. And I want Bolsonaro to get defeated because I feel bad for Brazilians, especially for gay people down there and indigenous people. Me being gay myself, I feel for Brazil's LGBT community because they're under direct threat from this guy and from his supporters, and God knows so many other people that have been just affected by all of this. I feel for those people. I feel for people worldwide who have to live under brutal regimes like this. It doesn't matter if Bolsonaro's a left-wing, right-wing, it doesn't matter. He's authoritarian. He has an authoritarian streak in him. And it goes to show that fascism is rising worldwide. We all saw what happened with fascism in the 1930s and 40s. It didn't end very well. So let's just hope that we put an end to these fascist regimes around the world. And let's just hope that people come to their senses and vote these people out. Anyway, I'm going to cut it here because my battery's about to die. Thank you all for listening. Comment, subscribe, let me know what you think. Welcome to all the new subscribers that have subscribed because my subscription numbers have jumped recently. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Comment, subscribe, let me know what you think. Did you like this? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? You can say what you want. I'm not going to berate you as long as you're civil and respectful with me. I'm not going to berate you. You have a different opinion. I'm not against Styx, X, and Hammer for supporting Bolsonaro. I just don't agree with it. But Styx, X, and Hammer, I still have a big amount of respect for. So I don't want anyone to misinterpret that. So just to be aware of that. Anyway, peace. Have a nice day or night. And I'll be back with more videos and more content soon. More content like this. Trying to stay away from politics. Only going to bring up issues like this sporadically. And there's other issues in the works that I'm going to talk about. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff. And a whole bunch of shit in the works. Stay tuned. Zach the Celtics guy signing off. Bye for now. Peace out.